Well, here we are, our ninth day of the cruise in amazing Bonaire, and we've already split up.
Sorry. Welcome to Living Phase 2.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Nancy, and we're empty nesters striving to live life to the fullest.
We're living our full life aboard Royal Caribbean's 9-month Ultimate World Cruise.
On Serenade of the Seas.
Yes, and today is day 9, and we're in amazing Bonaire, the scuba capital of the world, one of the scuba capitals of the world, one of the most greatest places to go. And so when we say we split up, yes, we did. I'm an avid scuba diver, and there was no way I was going to miss diving in Bonaire, and you took a nice island tour.
I did. So,
Yep.
First time apart on the cruise.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So let me tell you a little bit about my scuba trip, and then Nancy will tell you a little bit about her tour. I had a friend that actually did arrange with a local dive operator. There were only 4 of us. We loaded up in his pickup and headed on out. And the great thing about working with a small local dive operator like this is they know all the great places to go. They can read the shoreline. They know what's safe and what's not. That, you know, they're going all the time. And in fact, our particular dive operator, he said that this was going to be dive 394 and 395 for him this year or something like that. So yeah.
Year?
Yes.
Well, he has some experience.
Yes. Well, he dives almost every day or to every other day with a group, and he has people that return all the time, that they book him a year in advance, and they come back to Bonaire to dive and always dive with him. So and his name's Larry, by the way. And we can put his contact information down in the description if you'd like. Our first dive spot was near the Salt Flats, which Nancy will tell you about here in a little bit. And it was wonderful. Right off, we went down, saw some sea turtles. We saw eels. Now, the reef is getting a little bit of bleaching, and they also are having a problem with stony coral disease, or it's nicknamed Skittle D, which it may have a funny little name, but it's not a very funny problem. There is a disease going through the coral that frankly, it's a mystery, and they're trying to combat it. So they've asked all divers, and we, of course, did this. We fully sanitized all our gear, ourselves, everything before we went in the water, and we did it before we went in the water, and then after we got out, we re-sanitized all our gear so that we wouldn't ever bring that to another place or another island as well. So we were very cautious about that. And in fact, I tell you what I'll do. I'll just break away here. I think that the best thing to look at some scuba diving is just look at a few of the pictures, and then we'll rejoin you here in just one second. Well, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed those beautiful pictures scuba diving here in amazing Bonaire. After their first dive spot, we did go to a second, and we had another amazing dive there. It's really undescribable. One of the best places I've ever dove, and had a really, really good time. And after my diving, like we said, we sanitized all our gear and then went back to the ship. And Nancy, how was your day?
Well, my day was really good. I took a bus tour around the island, and the first thing that we saw were the pink salt flats. Now, here on this island, they're actually still being extracted through a company called Cargill. And in years past, slaves did the work here. And so we did see what are called slave huts. And it's a very tiny little house with just a short door and a little tiny window. And the poor slaves had to walk barefoot down to the flats to extract the salt when slaves were used. It's very sad.
Yeah.
Story.
And as we learned in Curacao, it's not just the feet, but the hands, and the salt is so sharp and corrosive. Yeah. It was unbelievably painful and hard work, and very, very sad time in history.
It really was. In these salt flats, though, that it as they bring in the ocean water for these salt flats, it brings in a lot of the pink shrimp and the flamingos love it. So just as we said in Curacao, the flamingos are there and kind of in abundance in the wild,
Massive
and it
flocks.
really is a neat thing to see all those flamingos.
Yeah, we could see them across the road from where we were scuba diving. We were right there by the salt flats, and yeah, it was out from the distance you see it's just a pink wave of flamingos. It was really neat.
It is. Then our driver took us just kind of around the town area, and then he took us out to a beach area. It was called 1,000 Steps. I did not go down the 1,000 steps. I stayed up at the top, but it was neat. I could actually see a little sea turtle. It wasn't very big, but it looked like it was probably about yay big. That was on kind of the edge of the sand and the ocean, going back and forth as the waves went in and out.
Was it actually 1,000 steps?
I don't think it was. It was a lot. It was
a lot of steps.
Steps. Yeah. So after that, he took us to a museum called Chichitan. And there it was just like a house that represented island life years ago. So we saw like a kitchen, a bedroom, and just some of the utensils and things that were used and the equipment that was used back during that time. They had some little vendors selling things there as well. And after that, we really that was kind of the end. It was a relatively short tour, about 3 hours, and then he brought us back to the ship.
Yeah. So we one thing I didn't mention is, but you always do a rest period between two scuba dives, and one of the nice things, our local guide, he actually took us and said, well, instead of just sitting here waiting for our next dive, let's go for a ride around the island. So we saw some of the things. We saw the salt flats. We saw donkeys. I think you saw them too, right?
Did.
Of course, there's wild donkeys on Bonaire, yeah. And we saw the western side of the island where all the waves crash, and you don't go over there. That's not the sandy beachy part. Yeah, and so yeah, it was nice kind of getting that little drive and overview of the island as well. So yeah, and then we met back up at the ship. We're no longer split up. And one nice thing that we're doing almost every night is we have just a wonderful group of friends, and we're getting together. We use WhatsApp, and we send a note. Okay, when's happy hour? And we meet at a different place on the ship most nights, have a little drink, and then go to dinner, and be it in the main dining room, the Windjam, or wherever.
Everybody does their own thing, their own excursions and things that they're interested in. And so it's been really fun to see, well, what did you do and what did you do? And
so we can learn about the different things. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, and one thing, right before we met for happy hour, we were looking out on our balcony, and you can see here we saw a beautiful rainbow, because it did rain after we left Bonaire. And the things that you get to see, just everything it's just a feast for the eyes almost every day.
After dinner, well, we didn't go to the show. It was a repeat of the previous night, the Almost Elton John. And so we saw that show the previous night, and we were actually a little tired, so we went to bed early. But Mike, before we kind of wrap things up here, let's just talk. Would you go back to Bonaire again?
Absolutely. So now, for me, it's a different experience. I'm going to guess than you. I'll wait and hear what you have to say. For me, I absolutely go back. I'd spend a week scuba diving here. I'd take our son, our daughter. They're all avid scuba divers. I would love to come, just stay at a resort. Almost all the resorts cater to scuba divers. That's what you do in Bonaire. You come here to scuba dive, and I would come back and absolutely spend a week scuba diving. So what about you?
That's good to know. Actually, it was I didn't like Bonaire as much as I like Curacao. I would go back to Curacao for a week and spend time there. Bonaire, if I didn't come back here, I'm glad I saw it. But I wouldn't feel bad if I wasn't able to get back here again. Right.
And I think that's the difference of what's the focus of the place we're visiting, right? For me, it's scuba diving. So of course I'd come back here. But if you're just come to do tourism, to do shopping or something like that, Bonaire is not your place.
Right.
So I think that's where you're seeing we're splitting again. No. So no, I would come back to go scuba diving. Absolutely. So, all right. Well, thanks a lot. The next video you're going to see, we're going to cover, it's going to be a little longer video the next time. We're going to cover some sea days, Grenada, and a missed port, unfortunately. So wait and see that. It's our first missed port. And again, we hope you're enjoying these videos, and we'll see you on the seas.
Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye, friends.
Bye.